You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We're a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest and repeat offender.
Welcome back.
Chris Bissonnette is in the house, old enough to remember. Welcome back, Hutter.
Whoa.
Yes, I think
It was a little before my time, but I do remember.
a little before his time.
Rorschach and the rest of the
Yeah, you got them all. I don't know about before your time. I don't know that. Hey, let me remind you, if you ever have any more finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators. Actually, there are operators standing by now. I've said there's no operators for so long, I'm still on that line.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Yeah, we celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Now, you got to remember when we talk about celebrating, today, yes, I know today is Wednesday. We record our radio show for the weekend Wednesday morning. So if you're listening to us live on any of our social channels, I know it's Wednesday morning. If you're listening to us on radio, I know it's Sunday morning. I got all of that. Yeah, Super Sunday. I don't know. Are the Raiders in town yet? Oh, no, the Raiders didn't make it to the Super Bowl.
The Raiders are the only team to win a Super Bowl in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and they're the only team that's from Los Angeles that won a Super Bowl that's been evicted from the state. I just throw that out there. Yeah.
There was no eviction.
What's
They
that?
left. They were not evicted. They didn't want it. They wanted to keep them in Oakland. So.
Yeah, well, I'm glad they stayed in Oakland. Maybe they go back. Well, Josh has to deal with them now. I don't know. Is
he in Vegas?
Josh is out there in Vegas.
That's a beautiful stadium.
Is it?
I've been there twice.
I haven't been to the stadium. I stay very close to the stadium, but
Luxor?
no, Mandalay Bay. Yeah.
Those are the places you stay if you go there.
Yeah, we were actually last weekend. We were at was it Delano, Toscano?
Okay.
I think it's Delano.
It's like a little boutique hotel.
Yeah, it's just a big old tower right next to built part of Mandalay, and nice place. We enjoyed ourselves. But February 13th, yes, it is the day. It's the big game today, Josh. We better put something we didn't even mention it. I blew it during the week. The big game. Okay, so who's going to win the big game? Do you have a prediction?
Well, I think the Rams will win.
Okay.
But I'd like to see the Bengals win to get their first Super Bowl.
Oh,
that's what I would like. I'm kind of an underdog fan. So.
Okay, so how do you feel today?
Pretty good.
Okay, well, sitting on the fence usually hurts. I'm just throwing that out there. Chris is.
I said the Rams would win. That's not on the.
You said the Rams would win, but
to see the underdog Bengals.
So whoever wins, you say, well, I told you the Rams were going to win, or I told you I wanted the Bengals to win. Okay, so text big game to 844-970-1990, 844-970-1990. Tell me who's going to win the game, Rams, and tell me what the final score will be. Whoever is closest is gonna, I don't know, they're gonna win something. I don't know. We'll mention you on next week's broadcast. How's that? 844-970-1990. Text big game. We always like that one. So I'm looking at our celebrations. Galentine's Day brings women together to celebrate each other. Galentine's Day is, we're gonna skip that one. That'll be Sunday morning. We're also got going on, what's this one? It's looks like food. Pork Rind Day. Pig skin is celebrated. Pork Rind Day recognizes the fried edible skin of the pig. Okay. I used to give that to my dog. The pig ears, that was good for the dog. But being that, I don't qualify as eating healthy, and last I checked, I'm still only walking on 2 legs. Let's go with Tortellini Day. Man, I can go with tortellini. I like tortellini. Where are you getting? Of course, I'm game for almost any kind of Italian food. I love Italian food. So Tortellini Day and Cheddar Day. So we got both of those. That was an interesting picture. I don't know where that one came from. Cheddar Day as well. So we've got Tortellini Day and Cheddar Day to celebrate. Let's move right along and see what else is going on in the world. Totally. What are the favorite appetizers? World Radio Day. I didn't know that one. My team does good stuff. World Radio Day. Look at that one. I like that. I hadn't seen that. Thanks, guys. So, did you see the picture of World Radio Day here, Chris? It's
that you?
That's me. Can't you tell by the bald spot? My team, they do great stuff. I have no budget, but they do some great stuff. Let's take a look and see what's going on in the world. There's a lot out there where I did notice this week that our friends at Geneva Financial came out with a new loan program that they're offering down to a 580 FICO score. So that's a nice one to see. Got to pay a little extra for it. You're not getting the prime rate when you have subprime numbers. But hey, the bottom line is you can get a loan. Now, we've talked about how to reposition your money. We've done that a lot. So if you reposition your money, you might be able to save some and redeploy that and collect a little arbitrage. I like arbitrage, right? So you've got it depends on when you got it. You might have a 2% loan, a 3% loan, 4% loan. I don't know what your home loan is. You might have some student loan debt. You might have some credit card debt. You might have auto debt. Well, the only number that matters, I don't care what your mortgage rate is, the only number that matters in your household is your blended household debt rate, blended rate. So if you've got a lot of credit card debt and you're paying 30% on it, you've got a lot of equity in your house, but you say, well, Ron, I've got a mortgage at 2.6. Who cares, right? Because you've got equity that's doing absolutely nothing for you. Now, I'm just going to throw this out there as a hypothetical, and we've got Chris Bissonnette here in the house. We're not going to give any financial guidance. I just want to throw just a little bit to him. So if you take and have equity in your property, you pull some of that equity out of your property, pay off all of your credit card debt, pay off all of your auto loan debt, pay off all of your student loan debt, pay off the mortgage. Yeah, I know it's at a lower number. And you blend all those things together and you do a weighted average. And if you send our team the numbers, they can do all of that for you. RJ@RonSiegelRadio.com, RJ@RonSiegelRadio.com, or you can put it right online for us. NoDebt.com. I think it's NoDebt.com. I'll have to find the right exact link for you. RSRNoDebt.com. RSRNoDebt.com. Put all your numbers in there. Our team will figure out what your blended household interest rate is. Then maybe you want to refinance your property. As long as it stays below that number, you're in good shape. But now what we want to do is we want to look at all the payments you're making. And I had this just recently, and we shared this exact scenario, or a scenario. I don't remember if we've still got the same one posted. But go to rsrrapidpayoff.com, rsrrapidpayoff.com, and we did a simulation. So we took all this debt, and this particular household was able to restructure their home loan. Yes, they got a higher interest rate, but their debt service went down by $1,800 a month. What is debt service? Well, that's all of your bills combined. Right? So your mortgage, your credit cards, your cars, your student loans, maybe you got furniture loans, whatever. All of those bills combined, whatever you have to make as fixed payments every month, that's your debt service. So this family saved $1,800 a month. What do you do with that $1,800 a month? No, don't go rack up more debt. That would not be the wise thing to do. But Chris, throw this at you. Is there hypothetically, no guarantees, any kind of a program out there that you might be able to help somebody with that's going to get them on a long-term, safe, secure investment that's going to get them over 4%?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a little tougher today to get the guarantees at, let's say, the banks, but you can still use corporate and government bonds.
We use insurance policies?
Some insurance policies can pay something like that as well. Some of the fixed annuities are a little bit lower, but
okay. So the concept here is you call somebody that knows what they're doing with the insurance, like our friend Chris here, or investments, or sets a plan, and you take that $1,800 a month that you were spending, invest it in something that's going to get you a good, safe, secure rate of return, and maybe 8, 10, 12 years down the road, you're going to have enough money to go and pay off your mortgage a little earlier. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, don't let student loans delay your home ownership dreams. We're going to talk about that. Mediating the marital home with a certified divorce lending professional. Student loan debt. Is the CalGrant? Can we still get one? We're going to talk about all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numero 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Nikki's standing by to take your call. What's going on in the mortgage world right now? Well, as I share with you on a regular basis, we record on Wednesdays, so I don't have the most current data. But as of February 3rd, Freddie Mac reported mortgage market survey, 3.55% on a 30-year fixed rate loan. Last year, 2.73%. So interest rates are moving up. This week we had a 10-year auction. Very, very strong demand. Well, what does that mean for you? If you have strong demand for the auction, that means there are people that think that the yield, the interest rate on the 10-year auction, or 10-year treasury, is going to drop. Otherwise, they would not keep buying it. Why would they want it to drop? Well, if the yield drops, that means that bond that they bought goes up in value. So the cost of the bond goes up when the yield goes down, the bond value goes up. So there's a lot of smart people that buy bonds out there, and they think that that's the direction it's going. The other thing that we're watching on it real close is what's going on with the consumer price index, what's going on with inflation. We've got to really be careful of that one because bonds do not like inflation. So as the Federal Reserve potentially raises the rates, a lot of people are saying, well, that's no good. Well, might be bond friendly because, again, that's the idea, that is to get inflation under control. I know the Federal Reserve said there's no inflation, but when I went to the gas station the other day, sure seemed like the prices were up to me. Maybe they're not up where you're at, but where I'm at, gas prices seem to be up. I'm right here in Southern California, where we're looking at 4.68% is the cost of a gallon of gasoline on average throughout the state of California.
Ow!
Yeah, 4.68. Unbelievable. I paid $4.75 at Costco the other day. So I might have to go and try and shop a little harder to find something better. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Chris Bissonnette is with us. Chris and I share, no, he's the thin one, the young one, so we don't share those things. But we do both serve or work as speakers for an organization, the Society for Financial Awareness. So I love having people come in here that have multiple perspectives, right? Because the idea of Society for Financial Awareness is to enlighten people. The schools aren't really doing that too well.
No.
So welcome, Chris.
Hey, thanks. Always good to be back. So thank you.
Tell us, so what are you out there talking about these days? I know you're a college guru.
Yes, yeah. So the big thing.
I had a
right
good time in
now-
college. So I don't know about the idea of getting out of it. So good time in college. So you're not going back to you went to Arizona State, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
so they don't study there. They just party there.
Partly, yes. Yes, partly. But the big thing right now for your listeners is I'm known as kind of Orange County's financial aid specialist. Tonight, I'll be on a panel.
Financial aid. So you're talking college.
Yeah, college financial aid specialist. So tonight, I'm on a panel. It's called Cash for College. So your listeners can look it up, cashforcollege.com. It'll be tonight. It's a statewide Cash for College webinar through Zoom at 5:30, and I'm one of the panelists. So people can listen in tonight, go on Zoom, watch, and then learn how to complete the FAFSA.
We have to kind of help Chris and remind him. That's going to be Wednesday or Sunday?
That is, oh yeah, so it's tonight.
So we're recording live on Wednesday. So we're not going to be able to go to. Maybe it'll be recorded. We'll see if we can find a recording. But Chris does a lot of help. So I guess the bottom line is you're a smart guy. Or you've got them fooled, one or the other, because they're going to have you on a big old panel. Perceived intelligence. Okay.
So, but for anyone listening, just the big takeaway is March 2nd is the college financial aid deadline, priority deadline for California. That's also the CalGrant deadline. So your listeners, if they've got kids in college, the number one mistake Americans make with college, they don't complete the FAFSA, the financial aid forms. 1/3 of people don't do it. They leave billions of dollars on the table.
How many don't do it?
A lot of people. It was 34% of people going to college in the United States don't complete the annual FAFSA.
Wow.
Last year, 133,000 people missed out on a federal Pell Grant because they didn't submit the form.
What is a federal Pell Grant?
So when you submit a free application for federal student aid, you're applying for aid from the federal government, from the state, and from the school. So the federal government gives low-income people a federal Pell Grant. The state gives a Cal Grant.
So is what you're saying is all of these things are just for low income?
The federal Pell Grant is low income. The Cal Grant is middle income. But even people who have high incomes can still receive money mostly from the school.
From the school?
Through their endowments.
Okay. I'm not going to even say anything about UCLA, but that's a different story. So I'm a Trojan fan, so we got in trouble too. So it's a different issue. So the whole idea here is there's money available So
A lot of money.
So the question that I hear all the time is I can't afford college.
Well, it's very expensive. When you mentioned USC or even your old alma mater, Chapman, they're $82,000 a year. So most Americans, and I say 99%, can't afford college, at least those. So they need financial assistance, but it's a little bit complicated. Some people don't fill out the forms. They don't understand it. But just understand, March 2nd is the deadline. Get your FAFSA.
So the bottom line now, filling out your FAFSA, in my opinion, well, it's kind of like a colonoscopy, but that's a different story. It's as bad as doing your taxes.
Maybe even worse. 141 questions, 215 with the supplemental. 90% of FAFSAs are incorrect or have irregularities.
90. Now, the incorrect part they might get accepted with. The irregularities, because I know way back when I wasn't willing to do it, so my wife did it. I didn't know Chris at the time because I could have had him do it for us. But the bottom line is,
I probably wasn't born either, so.
No, it was for my kids, Chris. Don't give me that stuff. Josh, we're gonna have to mute his mic. I you get these guests that come in there, they don't realize that we control the mute button on them, and then they start harassing the host. Okay, so the bottom line here is you can have somebody help you do these things, and there's a lot of money. Now, the more money, from what I understand, is you have to go to the right school to get the right amount of money.
Yeah. And so a big takeaway here is the higher the price tag for the school, usually the more money they have. So a lot of low income people automatically cross those schools off the list, but they possibly could get $50,000, $60,000 a year in free money by attending those schools.
So I can go get maybe $50,000 or $60,000 to go to Chapman or USC.
If you qualify financially, yes.
Yeah, if you qualify. I mean, obviously you got to do all the paperwork and get in and all that good stuff. But isn't it just easier to go to Rancho Santiago?
Now, that's the big misconception. So even though let's just say Cal State Fullerton, right? $23,000 a year is the cost of attendance. So people think, oh, we're going to go here, but they don't have any money to give you. You're going to have to do loans. You could go to a Tufts University, which is $80,000 a year, and if you're low income, you may pay $10,000 to go to the school. $70,000 they'll give you to go there.
Why? Why are they going to give me the money? Tell me.
The simple answer is they have a lot of money. So if you look at USC, for example, they have an endowment. It's $5 billion. So they have $120,000 per student in their endowment. Princeton University, a very prestigious college, has almost $2 million per student in their endowment.
$2 million.
$2 million per student. So they will pay you to go there if they want you. But most Americans don't know this. That's why I call it the college planning dilemma. Most Americans give up, go to community college, go to state school, and take loans.
But doesn't it become real difficult to get these things? I mean, they don't really want somebody like me there, do they?
Well, maybe not you, but they do.
Okay, touche.
They do want good students today. They want a diverse population. So as I tell people, hey, if you're a good student, good GPA, maybe a good test score on an SAT, ACT, and you're kind of maybe financially maybe lower income or lower assets, you should apply to the most expensive schools possible, and they will literally pay you to go there.
So get your dream list going.
Yes. Yeah.
Now,
Americans don't know this.
What are your thoughts about because from your experience, do I want to get the loans, or do I just want to see what they take?
No, nobody. You should never. The loans is like plan C or D. You want a grant or a gift, right?
Grant or gift.
Yeah, that's what you really want first. You want scholarship if they give a scholarship.
That's different than a grant or a gift?
Yes, those scholarship usually on merit. So like your grades or sports, or you play an instrument.
Okay.
Sometimes they give you money for that, but you usually get a lot of money.
I'm real good at wine drinking. Does that count?
Maybe at ASU.
Okay.
They might have that for
okay.
State or San Diego State or something maybe. But that's what.
So we got grants and gifts. We got scholarships.
Yeah. So financial aid is grants, gifts, scholarships, working on campus, and student loans. So student loans should be plan C or D, but for most Americans who don't understand the process, that's plan A. Oh, we got to go do loans. No, you should not have to do loans. You should look for grant gift money first.
Okay, so there's the whole idea right there. Again, it goes back to the same story, and this is holds true for nearly everything, not just college financial planning. We don't know what we don't know, right? It kind of sounds foolish. It sounds obvious. We don't know what we don't know. And then we start, who do we talk to? So we go and we chat with a friend, a family, a neighbor down the street, and we're asking them, how did you get into such and such school? How did your kids go to that school? And the bottom line is they might have found out by accident. They might have tripped over it. I think a lot of people know about the FAFSA form. I think a lot of people are afraid of the FAFSA form.
Yeah, or there's a big misconception that the FAFSA is like low-income student loans. They don't realize that some schools, like an LMU, tie their merit-based scholarship to the FAFSA. So some schools won't even give you a merit scholarship unless you submit it. So everybody should submit it. That's kind of the takeaway.
But it's hard to do. We're going to talk to Chris Bissonnette about, if you're like me, you automate. Well, can everybody do that? We're going to talk to Chris about that. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. When we come back, don't let student loans delay your home ownership dreams, and mediating the marital home with a CDLP. What is all that? Reach me anytime. Off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. We will be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomedigest.com, rsrhomedigest.com. If you own a home and you're not getting the digest, shame on you. It's going to tell you exactly what the county recorder knows about your property, what the market believes about your property, and it's a gift from Ron Siegel Radio. So you get all this information, and it costs you absolutely nothing. Don't let student loans delay your home ownership dream. If you're looking to buy a home, you may be wondering how your student loan debt could impact those plans. Do you have to wait until you've paid off your student loans before you can buy your first home? Or could you qualify for a home loan with that debt? To give you the answers you're searching for, let's take a look at what recent data shows. That way you know what to expect and what to do next to achieve your dream of becoming a homeowner. While everyone's situation is unique, your goal may be more within your reach than you realize. Do you have to delay your plans because of student loans? If you're worried about your student loans mean you have to put your home ownership goals on hold, you're not alone. In fact, many first-time buyers believe they have to delay their plans, according to data from the National Association of Realtors, NAR. Quote, when asked specifically about purchasing a home, half of non-homeowners say student loan debt is delaying them from purchasing a home, unquote. 51% of the people said that. When asked why their student loans are putting their plans on the back burner, three key themes emerged. 47% say their student loans make it harder to save for a down payment. 45% say they think they cannot qualify for a home loan because of existing debt. 43% say they believe the delay is necessary even though they've never applied for a mortgage. No matter which reason resonates most with you, you should know a delay may not be necessary. Here's why. Can you qualify for a home loan if you have student loans? In the same NAR report, data shows that current homeowners have student loan debt themselves. Quote, nearly 1/4 of all home buyers and 37% of first-time buyers had student debt with a typical amount of $30,000, unquote. That means other people in a similar situation were able to qualify for and buy a home, even though they also had student loan debt. You may be able to do the same, especially if you have a steady source of income. Apartment therapy drives this point. Quote, buying a home with student loans is possible, experts say. The proof is in the numbers, too. 40% of first-time home buyers have student loan debt, according to NAR study, unquote. The key takeaway is, for many people, home ownership is achievable, even with student loans. The best way to make a decision about your goals and next steps is to talk to the professionals. A real estate advisor can walk you through your specific situation, your options, and what has worked for other buyers like you. They can also connect you with other professionals in the industry who can help. You don't have to figure this out on your own. Lean on the experts so you have the information you need to make an informed, confident decision. Many other buyers with student loan debt are already achieving their homeownership dreams. Maybe it's time to take the next step toward making your dreams a reality. I'm working on a project right now with a company that will be able to, it's a service that'll take all your student loan debt and see if maybe there's a program to help reduce your payments or maybe even eliminate that student loan debt. So make sure you're checking in with this every weekend morning right here on Go Country, and we'll have that information as soon as we put the program together. But that is the Real-Time Real Estate segment. Again, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomedigest.com, rsrhomedigest.com. Continuing our conversation this morning, Chris Bissonnette from the Society for Financial Awareness is with us. And we've been talking about student loans, and we've been talking about, the early on, what I was just chatting about, the program that we're working on is for those of you that already have student loans, that you didn't know Chris beforehand. I'm going to share with you that, again, the filling out the FAFSA is not fun. And on a Sunday morning, it's the last thing we even want to be talking about because it can ruin your day, even though it's Super Bowl Sunday. Big game Sunday. We can't say Super Bowl, even though it's big game Sunday. And I'm not allowed to say that. Text big game to 844-970-1990, I think is the number. Big game, 844-970-1990. I'm not allowed to say that. Tell us who you think is going to win the game, Rams, and tell us what you think the final score is. We're going to have a little bit of fun with that one. But, Chris, the concept of filling out that FAFSA, is there somebody that I can just hire to do that for me that knows what the heck they're doing?
You can. There's a few people in the country who actually complete it. I work with a company that actually has power of attorney to file the forms. Very similar to when you do your taxes and your CPA files your taxes for you. I highly suggest people do that, especially on the first time they complete the forms, because it's just a tremendous amount of money on the line. I mean, I see people get 30, 40, 50,000 per year in financial aid.
Well, back up and let's just explain that, Chris.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you talk about $40,000 per year, and when I went to school, it was 4 years. Now I think it's closer to 5 years.
It takes 5.6 years to graduate on average.
5.6 years to graduate. So I don't do math very well. So let's just say 5 years, 40,000. You're talking about $200,000 per child.
You said 40,000. So if you look at Chapman's 82.
82,000, 5 years. That's $400,000.
Yeah, it's a huge expense for people.
Do you think it's worth a consultation to have somebody that knows what they're doing fill out the paperwork for you and maybe even offer some suggestions on things you can do to maximize your accessibility?
Financial aid eligibility. There's little things people can do, little things they can do to qualify for more aid, but people just aren't familiar with it because it's just different than other things.
So even if you're able to fill out the forms properly, I'm going to throw out there, because I've shared this one before, So Chris said to me one day, we were chatting about a family member of mine that was filling out the paperwork themselves. And you just threw this out to me, right? What are they putting down for the value of their home? And they probably went to rsrhomedigest.com, and they get a report every month that tells them what the value of their home is. That's the market value. Is that what we're supposed to put in?
Yeah, well, some schools want to see that, but I always tell people, hey, just start with the tax assessed value minus what you owe. It's a much lower number.
Sure.
And if they want a different number, then we can put that, but we kind of want to come in with, ideally we don't want to overshow assets. We want to be truthful, but at the same time, we can use tax assessed value.
Well, tax assessed value is what the county says your property's value is.
Yeah,
right.
So I always start there, and that sometimes can be a huge difference
especially in Southern California,
and especially with this tremendous run we're on with real estate right now.
Right. It's amazing. So just that one thing, so you could fill out the entire document correctly and be one of the small handful of people that do that correctly, but you don't maybe know the exact what they're really looking for.
Yeah, you're not going to know. It's just like if you had a $200,000 tax bill, right? Are you going to TurboTax that, or are you going to go to a CPA who knows who specializes in kind of what you do, and maybe he gets that down to 150? It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing with college financial planning. And this is the largest expense of people's lives, and they're literally kind of guessing TurboTaxing it.
Yeah, that's that because, and it's nothing wrong with that. It's just that most people just don't know any different.
Yeah, and a lot of people I talk to just rush through it. They don't want to fill it out, so they just rush through it. They don't really understand.
We said there's 150 questions or something like that.
I think it's 115 right now, and then 250. It's like 130, and then 215 with the supplemental. So it's a lot.
It's a lot of work. But what else would you be doing for $40,000 or $50,000 or whatever your number is? I mean, even if it's $5,000, right? Are you willing to? If I said I've got a project for you to do today, and it's going to take you all day to do it, and I'm going to pay you $5,000. I bet we could get a few people that want to do that. Right? Now, I'd rather have somebody do, I have somebody that I don't even know how to use a screwdriver. I don't know which side of it to use. So I do it wrong. Right? I've broken light bulbs and had to have a handyman come out and fix the receptacle, whatever you call the thing that the light bulb goes into, because I broke it because I didn't know what I was doing. Right. So my world is, let me go out and do what I do so I can hire somebody like Chris or his relationships to do what they do.
Well, you see, you're used to hiring professionals,
right?
And you know what you focus on. And for your listeners, if you had, it's a $200,000 or $300,000 expense that you're looking at, you may just want to consult somebody. That's kind of the idea there. And a lot of people don't know it exists. They just go online and fill it out, and then they're like, "Oh man, I wish I would have known you a year ago."
Well, that's a big issue, because I know that I know where you do some of your programs, and I don't know anybody that goes there, but you do a lot of programs at public libraries.
Used to, but COVID kind of shut it all down. So right now it's a lot of Zoom stuff, and like I said, doing stuff through the.
But I don't know your Zoom link, so I wouldn't even know where to find you, right? So that's the issue. So, if you have a billboard in a library, okay, or a flyer in a library, if someone went to the library, smart people do. I mean, I don't go to the library, but if then you have that opportunity, you can see that. Right, but we don't even know that this exists unless you're a regular listener of Ron Siegel Radio. So the question becomes, where do you find out this information? Well, now you've got it. Now what are you going to do with it? Right. So the other thing that you help people do is you tell them that there's a potential of positioning your assets properly.
Exactly. So you can, with the FAFSA goes by the date of the FAFSA. So unlike, let's say, Medicare, where they look back 5 years on your assets, the FAFSA is the date of. So you can literally have liquid assets. You can reposition those, which is all legal, then file the FAFSA and qualify for more aid.
It's legal for everybody, but it only applies to those people that know what they're doing. Right? I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, then you can't do it, right? Because you didn't even think about that. You had no point of reference. So the concept then is, so you want to what's the first step? I mean, obviously the first step is we got to have a consultation with you, Chris.
Yes, yes. The first step is I do a complimentary Zoom meeting for people that are referred to me, where I can at least explain how the financial aid process works. And then if people hire me for my service, I review their entire finances, their taxes, all their investments, and then I tell them, if we do this, this, and this is how it'll affect things.
So again, it's all about understanding. Now, think about this concept, because we're going to bring it back to where we normally go. Is we're a home and finance radio show. We deal with everything that affects the roof over your head and your bank account. Well, if your goal is for your kids to go to college, and that's a great goal. It's not great for everybody, but it is a great goal. Some people college is the right solution for. But we want to make sure that they're getting every opportunity they can. Why do you want your kids to go to college? Well, you want them to be positioned for a better life down the road. You're not doing it just because you want them to go to college. It's for the result of that. You want them to be able to maximize whatever they want to do with their life.
Be successful.
Be successful, and whatever their definition of success is. I'm going to submit maybe their definition of success is not an absorbent amount of loans. We're going to talk more about that with Chris Bissonnette when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, and if you missed any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numero 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Better Outcome segment today being brought to you by mycdlp.com, mycdlp.com. Get a copy of the Divorce Your Mortgage Workbook, mydymworkbook.com, mydymworkbook.com. Mediating the Marital Home with a CDLP. Where does a certified divorce lending professional fit into the mediation process? Well, first off, what is mediation? It's a process in which a third person helps the participants in a dispute to resolve it. In order to resolve the dispute, the participants must negotiate a solution. Problem solving is part of the negotiations. The process of mediation is the management of other people's negotiations, and the mediator is the manager of the negotiations who organizes the discussion of the issues to be resolved. The more coherent and organized the process, the easier it is for the participants to arrive at solutions that are mutual and appropriate for them. At the center of the mediation process is gathering the data, fact-finding, defining the problem, developing options. When the subject matter is specialized, as in negotiating the marital home, the cycle becomes specialized and may require the need for mediation support from a certified divorce lending professional. That'd be a CDLP. Why it's important to have a CDLP involved in the mediation process. Ideally, both parties will agree on the appropriate disposition of the marital home. The need for mediation supporting utilizing a skilled CDLP is important to make sure that the negotiated agreement can actually be executed, as in refinancing the current mortgage obligation for an equity buyout or selling the marital home and each party purchases a new home independently. Actually, coming to the agreement of how to handle the marital home may be the easy part, and executing the agreement may require a deeper look into the details. An example of how a CDLP can help: a skilled mediator will recognize and explain the various options of the marital home available to the divorcing couple and help the parties understand the implications of each option. Again, addressing the details of each option requires the support of a certified divorce lending professional. Consider the following scenario. Jack and Diane have been married for 17 years and have lived in the home for 11. Diane is employed as an administrative support at the local school and requires spousal support in order to afford housing independently once the divorce is final. Jack, he wants to sell the home and divide the net proceeds equally between the two. Both parties would purchase new homes. Diane would prefer to stay in the home she is emotionally attached to, as well as avoid the hassle of moving and purchasing a new home. Kim would agree to pay Mike his share of the equity in a marital home through a refinance of the marital home, which would also remove him from any financial obligation. Through mediation efforts, Jack and Diane agree that Diane will retain the marital home, and she agrees to a deadline of 120 days to complete the refinance process. Jack agrees to give his equity share to Diane in lieu of paying future spousal support. The parties also agree that if Diane is unable to complete the finance within 120 days, they sell the marital home. There may be a lot of potential issues with this negotiation and mediated agreement. Without the input and mediation support of the CDLP, Diane may not have the required income without the receipt of spousal support. The time frame in which the refinances take place may become an issue. And if the marital home is sold, she may still be in a position to buy a new one, or she may not be in a position. A mediator is not an accountant or an attorney. Neither is the CDLP in most cases, and I am not. Sometimes the couple has a budget or income problem that needs expert advice. The mediator is typically not an accountant or an attorney, and therefore does not take responsibility for providing expert advice. The mediator refers the couple to an expert for specific advice on specialty situation. Utilizing the expert advice of that CDLP to address the options for obtaining future mortgage financing is an important step in the mediation process. Do you have questions about how divorce can impact the ability to obtain a mortgage? Yeah, that's why we've got the Divorce Your Mortgage Workbook, mydymworkbook.com, mydymworkbook.com. That is the Better Outcomes segment brought to you by mycdlp.com, mycdlp.com. Continue our conversation this morning. Chris Bissonnette is with us, Society for Financial Awareness. And you know, the name of the organization, Chris, fits perfectly. Financial awareness, because when it comes to that student loan, you know, most people just are not aware. They don't have any idea how much money is out there that's available that's not being dispersed.
Yeah, and, you know, to your point, Americans are there is a financial literacy crisis in the United States. 30 years ago, we just didn't have all the stuff we have to worry about now, right? There's probably all these new mortgages you can do. There's all these different health insurance options now. There's all these 401k options. People are lost financially. When it comes to college, they give up. They say, we have no plan, go to community college, and we'll figure it out later. But if they really strategize,
well, when they figure it out later, then means pretty much loans.
Pretty much loans. Go to state school loans. But if they strategize it early, kid's a junior, kid's a senior, I mean, I get people a lot of money, and they wouldn't have gotten it before. And it's a great feeling for me and the clients.
So we're going to refer to Chris Bissonnette as Santa Claus because he gives away lots of money, right? Santa Chris. But there's a lot that's just sitting there. You know, our government either has a lot of money or prints a lot of money. We just
$2.8 billion for the last 2 years has gone unclaimed in federal money, just federal. 133,000 people missed out on a federal Pell Grant, probably like $6,000 because they didn't file the forms. All they do is file them. 133,000 people.
Okay, Josh, you're going to have to get ready for this because you got a few years to wait, but at least you'll know you're educated on that there's all this money out there available. 2.8 billion. Now, it was about the same before the pandemic too, wasn't it? I mean, it wasn't that all this money is available because of the pandemic.
What I'm showing you here is there was an article that came out a week ago that has all the new numbers. It's almost identical to what it was 2 years ago, where about 1/3 of people just don't file the forms. They don't understand it. They don't think they'll qualify.
Or they might try and they give up.
Or they try, or I have some people who do it once and then they don't do it again. And I'm all, why is that? I just hated filling it out. And I'm all, it's probably costing like 10 or 20 grand. I mean,
so they don't do it because it's gonna cost. So, I got a business model for you, Chris. Just talk to them about, you get half of whatever you save them. But you charge less than that anyway, right?
I charge way less than that. Yeah. I mean, I have one client right now that they were lower income and they were applying to local schools. I said, apply to the most expensive schools you can. They got into Tufts University and NYU. Each of those schools, 80 grand a year, and the family pays 10,000 per school.
10,000 per school.
They're getting
Wow.
70,000 in need-based aid per school per year.
I don't even know where's Tufts at.
It's something Ivy League back.
Okay,
I don't know.
So it's one of those real
super Ivy League.
Super Ivy League. Okay, so it's one of those for the really smart people.
Really smart people, really sophisticated.
Smart people that are now.
And most people don't think to apply to those because they see this $80,000 price tag, like these people. And I said, no, the students are a 4.4 GPA. You should be applying to these schools.
So when my oldest son was college material, my other sons, I believe there's a better route for them. So when he was applying, he had somebody actually. We hired somebody to help even fill out the enrollment application.
Yes. There's a whole service for that. That's college preparatory, where they help you get into the school. That's a whole other side. And I get referrals from those people all day long because I then do the other side, which is how to pay for it.
So you have to hire two people.
Well, yeah. I mean, ideally, if you really want to do it right, you got to have the college preparatory to get you in. And then you ideally consult someone and how to pay for it.
Which makes sense because you're dealing with a lot of money and you're dealing with your, if you're old like me, you're dealing with a child or a grandchild, right? So you're dealing, it's a long way down. You're dealing with their whole future.
Yeah. And I see the problem I do see is people take out their 401k to pay for college.
It's not a good idea.
No, not at all. 10% penalty, taxes, you can't get a loan in retirement. You can get a loan for college, but I see that a lot. Our plan is to withdraw $100,000 out of our 401k, and I'm all, that's like plan F. What is that?
Now, what happens when you can't pay the student loan, though?
Then it keeps accumulating. And as I was sharing with you, I have clients that are 60 years old with $200,000 in student loans. It started at 50, but they only pay like $100 a month, so it keeps growing. And then it's a black cloud over their head. Can't buy a house, and it's a big problem. You can't forgive it. You can't file bankruptcy.
But the idea here is you've got to just make a plan and execute the plan, right? And the idea is to get educated. Wait. We're talking about college funding, and maybe it's mom and dad that need to get educated, not Johnny and Sally.
Well, when I do my presentation, I do a 10-minute Zoom complimentary for people that reach out. I tell them we should have the whole family on. It should be the parents and the student. A lot of times the parents take control, and I said, well, this is the student's education. He needs to know this. He needs to know you guys are dropping $300,000 on college for him. He needs to be involved with this as well. A lot of parents do everything, and I think it's a mistake. There
you go. If you want more information or you want to meet Chris Bissonnette, give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. As always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here every day and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. And we talk about the big game on the big game day. Go Rams. Sorry about that, Chris. Raiders aren't there.
I like the Rams. I like Cooper Cup.
Okay.
They're the Irvine Rams, so I like the Rams.
Text big game to 844. Was it 970-1990? I think that's the number, 844-970-1990. Text big game. Tell us who you think's going to win the game. And as I said, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
I'd like to call him something. I think I'll just call it a day.